Okay, this is a quick response to the Natural Law Party. This is a video from the 90s, and it's for Canada. So let's see what they were saying to the Canadian people back in the 1990s.
What we want to do is create large groups of experts in consciousness to practice techniques of consciousness, including yogic flying, which everyone in Canada has heard about. And
yeah. They're talking about people jumping on mattresses or on yoga mats. They're crossing their legs and jumping in that way, and supposedly this positive field will help society and solve all of your problems to some degree.
Which is the most powerful technique of consciousness.
Is it the most powerful technique? You're jumping with your legs on a thick mat, like a thin mattress. And this is a powerful technique because it makes people feel positive, because they're expected to feel positive. They go through with the practice. They're made to believe in the positivity. They manifest it in themselves. Good for them. You know, should more people do this? Well, I don't see why they need to do the jumping thing. They could just as well do any number of other practices.
A large group like that creates such an influence of positivity and harmony in the field of collective consciousness.
What does that even mean? Field of collective consciousness. If you mean at a cultural level, people change how they think about things because they're jumping on mats, maybe. I mean, not a lot. If you mean some kind of energetic, I don't know, spiritual or otherwise dimensional energetic process. I'm using a lot of word salad here, can you tell? Yeah, I don't think that's going to change much either.
That it just dissolves all of the stresses which cause the problems and prevent all of the conventional approaches that the other parties use from...
Well, that's weird, because that would mean that things that other parties employ, you know, wherever they are on the political spectrum, they wouldn't work at all because they're not jumping on mats. Is that the answer? Because you don't jump on mats, your policies do not work. Advice for the future. Jump on mats. It will make all government policy work. Does that mean if you just simply took, you know, hardline conservatives and had them jumping on mats, their policies would automatically be far more successful? If you took a liberal, you know, real liberal, like, oh yes, you know, like with Canada now, you've got like legalised weed and everything else. Well, not everything else, but you know what I mean. Everything else that's going on with the Canadian government. Would that work a lot better if they jumped on mats?
Actually working. And in fact, this field effect of consciousness...
Random chart. So they're suggesting there can be a drop. You can't read this chart. Look at this. Geez, guys. Better quality video, please. I know someone uploaded this, but I feel like having a go at them. Yeah. So they're suggesting that you end up with a considerable drop-off based on, you know, this practice. I wish I could read that. Something period. I presume that's period. So, I don't know. They're... Let's just say it's like yogic jumping. Or, sorry, yoga flying. If that actually lowers crime in one test, then does that actually prove anything? Or is this two tests alongside? It's so unclear. Hey, but it's science. It's a chart. Must be science. So crime drops when people jump on mats. Or at least it can do, according to some very limited data. And because we're going to present it to you in a chart, and as part of a party political broadcast, it must be science now. Is that the way it works?
Consciousness is the most solidly validated phenomenon in the history of social science.
Ooh, that sounds a bit quacky, doesn't it? Let's make a whole bunch of very, very definite claims. What could possibly go wrong?
So it works.
Hey, it works. Yes.
And it really is time for us to apply this knowledge to solve the problems of the country.
How does it deal with national debt? How does it deal with poor health? How does it deal with poverty? How does it deal with homelessness? How does it deal with so many other issues, everything from jobs to infrastructure? Jump on mats. It'll make things a whole lot more positive. Where's the defence budget gone? Oh, we've spent it on yoga mats. Yeah, we put them up and down the streets. People are walking on them. What do you mean? They're not jumping. They're not flying, sorry. Flying. Yogic flying. They're not doing that. No. Oh, they need to learn. Yeah. Then everything will just run smoothly.
We will appoint ministers based on their qualifications, irrespective of their party affiliation.
That means you'll end up with a bunch of arseholes who may well be educated, but might also have policies that differ from yours completely, like not investing in yoga mats, or not doing yogic, jumps. So, yeah, how would that work? We're not a big enough political party with enough experts, even though we claim to be scientific, but we're going to take your experts and put them into positions that we think are good for the country in general. How did you get to that from jumping on yoga mats?
We will establish a new atmosphere of harmony, cordiality, and respect in the political arena.
Someone play the Soviet national anthem right now. It just comes across as propaganda. That's what it basically is. But no, it isn't obviously like... So you could actually argue that socialism is better organised. It makes more sense than this. But this is basically, we're having a unilateral effort to correct things, to make things better. And how are we going to make it all work? We're going to jump on mats, and people who've got qualifications, we're going to put them into the right position within the government, from whichever party, whichever affiliation. If they're the best qualified, then great. The fact you could have a person who is perhaps the best expert on anything, who might well disagree with you radically. You could be for natural laws and nature and, jumping on mats. They could be a hardline conservative who also happens to be a professor in, say, law or economics or whatever the case may be, and you would disagree massively, but they're the most qualified. That sucks, especially for you.
We will create an all-party government and conflict-free politics.
Conflict-free politics.
I think every Canadian...
And no, this isn't a parody, guys.
Canadian will agree with me that the best government is nature's government.
Nope.
Only with the support of natural law can we sustain growth and prosperity for all Canadians.
Well, how very convenient. Yes, by jumping on yoga mats, the production of yoga mats, the activity of going on yoga mats, you get all your criminals to do that. They won't be stealing anymore. They'll be too busy making yoga mats, jumping on yoga mats, going to the shops on yoga mats, doing their yogic flying. So all of your problems are over. You've got a lot of people are suddenly unemployed. It's okay, we're jumping, we're positive, yeah. Have fun while you starve, while you can't afford to feed yourself. Oh, what about funding public services so they don't starve? Well, we're going to be jumping on mats. How are you going to, fund this? Well, we've got economic prosperity from producing yoga mats and jumping on them.
Only the Natural Law Party can create a flourishing economy in which there is employment and opportunities for everyone.
And you don't explain how. Well done. The Natural Law Party. Basically a message from Cloud Cuckoo Land.